Our top focus remains Venezuela and developments in the United States of America. Remember, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores have reached New York, where they will be appearing before the New York court. They are now soon set to appear in the drug-related charges, as President Donald Trump insists that the US is currently in control of Venezuela. Meanwhile, massive protests are underway across the world against the indictment of Maduro and the US's takeover of Venezuela. Remember, viewers, the US had launched a large-scale attack in Venezuela in the early hours of January 3rd, which led to the capture of its president Nicolas Maduro and his wife from the presidential palace. The two are currently detained in the US. And some breaking news coming in. Venezuelan President Maduro is under heavy guard as he was transferred to the US federal court. In the latest images, we can see that Maduro was being escorted to the courthouse with at least 6 officers blocking him from the crowd. Visuals on your screens. We have with us Major Sudhakarji, Senior Geopolitical and Strategic Defense Expert, and we also have with us Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, former diplomat, with us on the broadcast. Ambassador Mukherjee, I want to begin with you, ma'am. I want to understand from you. We're looking at quite an interesting day as far as the United States of America is concerned. Maduro will be presented before the New York court. The charge sheet, 25 pages. We've all read some of the charges that have now been put out by the US. But how exactly does the US become the judge and the jury, the defendants and the prosecutors in this case? How do you play all 4 roles here?
That is the most troubling aspect of the case, Devika. And thank you for putting it so clearly. The issue here is that does an American domestic court have jurisdiction over a sitting head of state who has been plucked from his residence and flown like a felon to US with his eyes blindfolded, hands shackled, small bottle of mineral water in one hand, I noticed, and then taken to, actually it's the most notorious prison in New York City, Devika. It's very notorious. It has terrible living conditions. It has some very, very dangerous international criminals lodged in that prison in New York, where they took Maduro. Now, the charges they have against him, I'm told by American friends, will if pushed through quickly, will result in a sentence of nothing less than 25 years in prison for both of them. During that period, Trump is not going to be there for more than 4 years. Trump, when he came to power, quickly pardoned an international criminal. You can't rule out that Maduro would be similarly pardoned. But the point is, what is going to happen to Venezuela during this period? As you rightly point out, the streets are full of protests in Caracas, and there are reports of armed gangs, drug cartel gangs, moving to Caracas to protest and to eliminate any pro-American Venezuelans or to attack Americans. This is not a good time for Americans to be in Caracas, in my opinion. They don't have a ground military presence, boots on the ground right now, anywhere in Venezuela. As far as President Trump announcing that he is going to rule Venezuela, he said that yesterday, but today he seems to have backed off slightly and is trying to negotiate with the vice president. But the situation on the ground is such that nobody, no political leader in Venezuela can afford to give the impression that they are on good terms with Trump, because then they would be eliminated by furious Venezuelans who would say that they are traitors. So what would happen is either you would have a civil war type of situation, or you would have a hostile regime emerging in Caracas who would keep on demanding for the return of Maduro. Under those circumstances, do you think that any international American oil company could take the risk of going into Venezuela, spending billions of dollars to repair the infrastructure that is almost completely destroyed, and rebuild the infrastructure, which I'm told by experts will take anything from 5 to 7 years before they can start putting Venezuelan oil in the market? They would know, the oil companies, that Trump is not going to get a third term. Would they take such a risk? At the moment, not even one American oil company has welcomed this move or have signaled that they would like to get into Venezuela. It's a very tricky situation for an American oil company to get into. So I am not sure whether it's really going to benefit all that people talk about, the exploitation of Venezuela's gold and copper and coal and its oil resources. All these things take time to develop and build up. Moreover, you need support on the ground. You need local support. You can't, the time of the naked colonialism and imperialism of the 18th, 19th century is over. You can't just march into Venezuela and start exploiting their resources. You
Yes.
need the support of the local Venezuelans, which is not there. So I would say that I don't think Venezuela is going to slide into civil war. I think their regime is going to become more extreme, more anti-American. And then what will Trump do? He can't keep on going into Venezuela, then take out the acting president, then take out the next person. How many people is he going to take out? He can't do that. So he's actually got, in my opinion, he's got United States into a very messy situation.
Okay,
He
but
has-
Ambassador Mukherjee, pardon me for interrupting, but you're saying that that he's not going to be able to take out every anti-American head of state that Venezuela may get. I agree with you on that, but I also want to understand from you, with what they've done with Maduro, the United States of America, and the precedent that they've set, we've really seen a sudden change of tone as far as even the acting president is currently concerned. She's come around and said, after of course condemning the act, saying that we want to have a respectful relationship with the USA. So to you, is that simply them buying time before they can figure out how to deal with the United States of America? Or has Trump really instilled some fear in the people that have been left back to run Venezuela in Maduro's absence?
No. I don't think Trump has instilled any fear. I don't know if you've been to Latin America, Devika. They are fiercely nationalistic people all over Latin America, because they are also the victims of colonial exploitation, just like in Asia, like in India, etc. They are fiercely nationalistic. This lady may be trying to buy time, but but during the period that she made that statement that she would respectfully like to develop good relations with the United States, in the meantime, the streets of Caracas are full of pro-Maduro supporters and gangs of supporters, including the very same drug traffickers that Trump was talking about, are all driving in bikes, etc. You can see them on national television and social media. They are driving into Caracas to do what? They said they are going to eliminate all pro-Americans in Caracas. What does that mean? First of all, it means if there is an American embassy, they should get out fast. If there are any pro-Americans, they should quickly leave. And as far as the regime is concerned, whatever nice statement she made in the morning, she will, you can be sure, Devika, and I'm not an astrologer, she'll come out with a completely different statement by the end of the day. What is going to happen by the end of the day, Latin American and American time, is the Security Council is going to meet. The Security Council will try to push through a resolution critical of United States that will be vetoed by the United States. After it's vetoed, it will be given by the Russians and the Chinese to the international media. It will be all over. It will come to Venezuela, to American national security. If you put the two statements together, what does it mean? It means that if you are a regional hegemon and you have nuclear weapons, you can do what you like. That's what it means. That's not a good signal. It means the breakdown of the global order. It means the rise of new and dangerous conflicts which are a threat to international peace and security. And it means the complete paralysis of the multilateral system, including the UN Security Council. That's it. So this is going far beyond weaponization of tariffs, which can be negotiated, which can be worked out with an FTA. We can go back and forth. As you said, he called our prime minister his good friend, etc. Those are things that can be negotiated diplomatically, etc., etc. This is something which can't be negotiated diplomatically. It's as
Yes.
simple as that. He is in the American custody, and as long as President Trump is there, as they say, his goose is cooked. He is going to be sent to a 25-year prison sentence. What happens to him after Trump leaves, provided he survives in that very dangerous prison, where his wife will be in a different part of the prison, which has equally dangerous women prisoners on the other side. It's if he is assassinated in that prison, that would be even more unfortunate.
Yes.
If he somehow survives, one can only hope that Trump's successor would pardon him and maybe send him to a third country in Latin America for exile. That's all that one could hope for him.
Okay.
But beyond that, situation looks very, very grim, and situation looks as if Venezuela will either go into civil war or will get into a regime that is even more anti-American than it was